Okay, Alex, this is your first go at a foundation paper one. They're quite different to the higher tier. You're estimating 53. You need to get probably another 10 marks on top of that to be sure of a C. But certainly the first half of the paper will be quite unusual for you at the moment until we get familiar with them. So let's see how you do. That one's wrong. It's 13,406, not 1,406. Okay, and the way that I would sort of different way of thinking about that is if you read it backwards from the 6. So that would be 6 and 6, 406, 3,406, 13,406. So if you can't see it going one way, try building it up in the opposite direction. 182 is correct, 309. A multiple of 8 that is between 70 and 79. Now what you have done there is you have said, what have I got to multiply 8 by in order to give me a number between 70 and 79? That's not what they're asking for there. What they're asking for is the outcome. 9 8s are 72. So you found the right pair, but you haven't answered the question. Correct to the nearest 10. You've what have you done there? So you've kept that as 6. No, in order to round that to the nearest 10, your answer is either going to be 8740, 8,740, or 8,730. Because it's 36, it's nearer to 40. So you don't have that there. You put the 0 in there, so 8,740. And then similarly to the nearest 100, well, the 7's in the 100 columns, so it's either going to be 8,700 or 8,800, because that's what the number is between, but it's closer to 8,700. And then factors of 8, you've got 2 of them, but there are others as well, because what do you have to multiply 8 by to make 16? 2. And then also 16 and 1 are also factors. They also go into 16 exactly. So you've only got 2 out of the 5 there, which isn't enough to earn you a mark. I've given you one. Hang on, cross that out. Right, the value of the 8 in this number, so again it's a units and so on, so units, tens, hundreds, thousands. The 8 is in the thousands column, so its value is 8,000. If the question had asked you for the 6, the answer would be 600. The 2 would have a value of 20 and so on. So what they're looking for there is 8,000. Square number, 64 is a square number and it is less than 100, but it hasn't got a tens digit of 8. So that's basically saying what's the square number that lives in the 80s? Alright, 8 8s is 64, 9 9s are 81. It's 81 is what they're looking for. Right, what you've done here, a couple of mistakes. First of all, you've missed out this bit, which is important. £1 left over, so he didn't spend £15 on the cards, he spent £14 on the cards, and he bought 10 packs, so you have to do 14 divided by 10, and 14 divided by 10, but what you've done here is 15 divided by 10, and it goes once with 5 left over. So what we want to be doing here is that doesn't go, goes in once with 4 left over, and then into 40 4 times. So basically it's £1.40. You should be able to divide by 10 mentally. If you divide that by 10, then the decimal point moves from there to 1.4. So £1.40 is what they're looking for. So again, you're going to get a method mark for trying to divide by 10, but you're going to lose a mark for not spotting that it's 14, and then you've got the answer wrong. 2 out of 8 is correct, but that's a fraction. As a percentage, that is 25%. 2 out of 8 is the same as a quarter, and a quarter, you should know, is 25%. That is correct, but you got one naught too many. 75 times 100 would be 75 with 2 zeros. And prime numbers, the smallest prime number, so a prime number is a number that only itself and 1 divide into it. So 17 is a prime number because only 17 and 1 go into it. 16, as we've seen over there, isn't a prime number because all of those numbers go into it, as well as 16 and 1. So you're looking for the smallest prime number that is greater than 20. Well, 21 isn't because 7 and 3 go into it. 22 isn't because 2 goes into it. 23 is a prime number because only 23 and 1 divide into it. Okay, so on that first page, Alex, you've scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, by the time we get to the summer, you will be scoring full marks on that page because that type of question comes up every year. So at the moment, it's all unfamiliar to you, but very quickly, that sort of question will become very familiar. So that's correct, but now you've got to work it out. So you've got to do 2 lots of 24 is 48, and then you add a naught because you times them by 10, and then you've got to work out what that is. So that you're going to get 1 mark for substituting in. And here 180 is 10 times 24, take away the outlay. So there's your word formula. You substitute in everything as it stands. That you can work out, you can evaluate that. So you've got 180 is 240, take away the outlay. So what you're asking yourself is, what have you got to take away from 240 to get 180? And hopefully the answer is 60. 240 take away 60 gives you the 180. So because you've left that out there, you're not going to get the method mark either. Cone is correct. Hexagon has got 6 sides. That has got 8 sides, called an octagon. That's not a trapezium. A trapezium looks like that, 4-sided shape with 1 pair of parallel sides. That is called a pyramid. That's not a radius. This is a diameter. A radius goes from the center out. That is a tangent. That's not a diameter. That's a diameter. This is called a chord. So you need to know and learn those sort of standard names of shapes. So we've got 1 right there, 1 right there, 1 mark over there, 3 for that page. Okay, so with this shape, the lines of symmetry, that one is correct, that one is correct, but that one isn't. That one needs to be going through that diamond there like that. So you've got 1 wrong there. And then with this one, the vertical and horizontal ones are right, but the diagonal ones are wrong, because if that is your mirror, which is what a line of symmetry is, then that should reflect over to there, and there's nothing there. So the diagonal ones aren't symmetry lines. The perimeter of the shape, so you've correctly seen there, you need to be adding those together, which is 12 and 12 and 10, But where you have to be careful is inside here, that distance isn't 10. That distance, it's 10 from there to there. That distance is 2, and that distance is 2, so that distance must be 6. So when you're travelling around the inside, so if you start there, you're going 12, add 10, add 12, add 2, add 10, add 6, add 10, add 2. So your method is right for adding them up, but then you're going wrong beyond there. And then for the area, you divide them into rectangles. So this rectangle here, the area is going to be length times width. 10 times 2 equals 20. They're identical rectangles, which means that's 20 and that's 20 as well. So the area will be 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20. Then there's a mark for the correct units, and you need to know that area is units squared. So if we're measuring in centimeters, it's going to be centimeters squared. So your units are wrong and your method is wrong for working out the area there as well. So 2 marks on that page. Now what they're looking for you to do on this question is to estimate. Okay? So when you're estimating, you want to make these numbers easier to work with. So rather than 98 pupils, that's going to be 100. Rather than £3.95, we'll make it £4. Rather than 915, we'll make it 900. Rather than 290, we'll make it 300. So we're multiplying and dividing by easier numbers to work with. So rather than the tickets being 98, 915 divided by 98, we're going to be doing 900 divided by 100, which is 9. 300 divided by 100, which is 3. So that's what you're looking to do, rather than this awful division that you're trying to do, which is too difficult for question 6 on a foundation tier paper. So what you've done is you've missed that word there, which is the really crucial one. But you're going to get some marks. You're trying to do the right thing there by dividing that by that. You're trying to do the right thing there by dividing that by that. But then I can't give you any more than that because you haven't worked out any answers. You're not communicating with me what you're trying to do, although you are telling me what each of those are, so you'll get 1 communication mark. So you're going to get 3 out of 7. It's not going up 5, it's going down 5. If it's going from 3, which is warmer than that, the temperature is getting colder, so it's falling, it's going down 5. If it's going down 3 from -1, that means it's getting 2 degrees colder again, so it'll be -3. It is down, but it isn't going down 8, it's at -2, not +2, so it's going down from -2. So if we drew a number line here, naught, no, hang on, let's put naught there. So if you're going that way, +1, +2, +3. This way, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. If you're at -2, so there's -2, and you're going down to -6, which is there, you're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, not 8. And then if you end up at -5, and that's actually gone up 2, then that means it was 2 degrees colder at the start. So it would be -7 to go up 2 to get to -5. So with questions like that, draw yourself a number line. It usually helps. So 3 marks on that page. Okay, so with this one, it's important that you work out what each little square counts as before you plot them. So that one's easy. It's going from 0 to 10 in 10 jumps, so each one is 1. But here, it's going from 0 to 5 in 10 jumps. So each square is going to be 5 divided by 10, which is 0.5 per square in that direction. So when you plot in 13, 4.6, 13 is going to be 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's going to be there. And then 4.6, if you go down 1, you're going down half a square from 5, which is 4.5. So that point needs to be there. The next one then is 35, 12.4. So remember, you're going up in halves. 10, 10 and a half, 11, 11 and a half, 12, 12 and a half. It's going to be about there. And then 21.2, 20, 20 and a half, 21, 21 and a half. So it's going to be a little bit higher than when you've plotted it. So your points are in the wrong place, but you have realized that you need to join them with a line. For 40 kilometers per litre, you've measured 40 miles per gallon. Okay, so you've gone the wrong way. What you need to do with questions like this, here's your kilometers per litre line, doesn't go up as far as 40, so what you have to do is read off 20 and then double it. So you're going to go from 20 across, read off your graph, 58, so 20 will be 58, so 40 will be 116. So 116 is what you're looking for. Okay, so with this one, 5331 is correct. Now, what it tells you here is that if the number is negative, you just make it positive. So 6 take away 1 is 5, 3, 5, 7. So you don't make them negative. So you get 1 out of 2 there, 2 for the page. $50 lots of 320 isn't that. Now 50 is 50 pence, which is half a pound. So basically half of that would be 160. So what you're looking for there is not that. Think of it as 50p equals 0.5 pounds times 320. Half of 320 is 160 pounds. Then you need to go and work out the probability of winning and work from there. So take a look at the video clip that I have done on that and see if you can follow that through. Angle properties of a straight line. 180 take away 114 is what you need to do, but the answer isn't 70. Okay, so 180 take away 114. 4 from 0 you can't do, so the way you would have been taught this probably in primary school is you can't take 4 from 0, so you have to borrow a 10 from next to it. So rather than write it as 180, we're writing it as 170 10. 4 from 10 we can do. 1 from 7 we can do, and 1 take away 1 is 0. So when you do that, you don't get 70, you get 66. Now 66 is that angle then in there. Then you need to spot that that is an isosceles triangle because the little tick's there. And the property of an isosceles triangle is that that angle and that angle are the same. So if that's 66, that is 66, and then you also need to know that angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So you add those together, take them away from 180, and it'll give you the missing angle. So you get 1 mark there for spotting that you take that away from 180 because it's on a straight line, but then the rest of your maths is wrong from there. With this one, it isn't 106 that you're adding to those, it's that angle there that you're adding to those, and in order to find that you have to take that away from 180 in the same way as you did up there. Once you've got those, you do have to take them away from 360. So again, your angle property mark is correct. You know that the angles inside there have to add up to 360. But that's wrong. And again there, your subtraction is wrong, because what you need to do is you can't take 3 from that. So that becomes the 10. Which you've borrowed from there. So 3 from 10 is 7. Then you can't take 7 from 5, so you've got to borrow another 10 from there. So now you can do 7 from 15 is 8, and then 2 from 2 is 0. So if that was correct, the missing angle would be 87. As I've said, that's not right anyway, because that shouldn't be 106. So 2 marks on that page. That's a tricky question. Take a look on the video how I go through that. We will be practicing coordinate questions like that in class over the next few weeks. Okay, the price of a new car. Well, how old is a new car? It hasn't got an age, it's brand new, so 0. Where is the 0 dot? It's there. Again, what you need to do is work out what each little square is worth. So going up, you're going from 0 to 2000 in 10 jumps. So you're doing 2000 divided by 10 is 200. So each little square in that direction is 200. So that's 6,000, 6,200, 6,400. That one's right. Your line of best fit is good. Positive is if your graph is going in that direction. It's negative if it's going downwards. And then a 2.5-year-old car for you on your graph is there, which is 3,200. So again, a little bit sloppy there reading off your graph. 2 marks on that page. Now, you're doing the right thing here, you're trying to do the right thing. You can't take an x out because there's no x in that part of the expression. So you can only take 3 out. And then what you're asking yourself is, if I've taken a 3 out as a factor, what do I have to multiply that by to get that? So 3 into 24 goes 8 times. 3 into 3 goes once. And with this one, you can only take an x out, which is right. But then when you multiply that back out, you don't get back to that. That needs to be a 6. X times x is x squared. X times 6 is 6x. So that's that one wrong. This one, 2x times x cubed is x to the 4, so that one's wrong, and then that shouldn't be there at all, and then 2x times 6 is 12x, so no marks for that. This one, it's going to be 25 take away 15. To get the x over 3 on its own, I have to do the opposite of adding 15, which is taking 15 off, and then from that line to that line, you have moved 3 from underneath the x to being next to the x. There's another mistake there. With this one, that line is correct, so you're going to get 1 mark for that. Well done. And actually, you get full marks for that. That's the right answer. So, well done there. These are things we will be practicing, but they are things that you will have practiced a lot more than the foundation tier students when you were getting ready for the higher tier. So actually those are things that would have been something that you should have been able to do fairly straightforwardly. So, but don't worry, we will be practicing them. Question 14, that is right. But what you have to remember is that you won't have 8 people on every table, because when you put 2 of them together, you'll have 3 there, 3 there, 3 there, but you won't have the 2 seats in the middle. So it isn't what you've done. Okay, so you've started off with 1 table, but you then haven't considered what happens as you add more tables. So take a look at the video clip, how I explain the development of that. Basically, you shouldn't be dividing by 8, you should be dividing by 6 after taking off the 2 tables. And then that isn't right either. So take a look at the video clip of that. So 3 for that page, and then that one isn't right, and again take a look how I explain that on the video. The 6 is correct, but then they need to be in order, and again we will be practicing those, but watch how I work through that on the video clip. You get 1 mark for having 6 in the right place. Okay, Alex, I don't think you are you're going to get 53 on this. You've done a lot of work, but you made a lot of careless little mistakes that hopefully practice will put right quite quickly. 5, 8, 10, 13, 15, 17, 19, 22, 23. So 23 is a G, and you are 3 marks off an F. But as I said, there are lots of things in there that we can quickly put right. They're just things that you're not familiar with. But certainly what you need to be doing is practicing how to multiply and divide by tens and hundreds, and non-calculator subtraction, because you're making little mistakes with things like that. So that's certainly something that you could be focusing on with Sheridan.